'Tis the season. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Debbie, and I'm on the creative design team at Sizzix. And not only is it Christmas time, my favorite time of the year, but I'm also excited because Advent calendars are one of my favorite projects to make. And I'm going to show you and walk you through a few techniques on creating an Advent calendar using our House Die by Olivia Rose. The 11-piece die set, the house die set from Olivia Rose, oh my gosh, the detail is amazing. You have so many dies to create this fun project. I've always, like I said, loved Advent calendars growing up, having them also for my daughters who are now grown, but I still love them and have them out. I remember when I was younger, we would pull back the little door and you would just see a little image. But now it's gotten so much different where you can put little treats in there, and that's another project I'll show you that I created also. But this one, I thought it'd be fun to do the little peekaboo thing, but it just adds a little more fun when you put a little bucket list behind each one. So Christmas Eve, go see the Christmas lights. The day before Christmas Eve, donate a toy or two. And a couple days before that, listen to Christmas music. So there's all sorts of things you can do. Donate a toy, leave cookies for a neighbor, all sorts of fun things. Go Christmas shopping, visit a senior citizen's home. It could be something for a friend. It could be something for somebody you don't know, but nothing brings out the spirit of the holidays than something, just doing it for others. So this is an Advent calendar for a bucket list, but like I said, you could do different things. You could put a little picture behind it, which is fun for kids that aren't able to read. But it's also really fun just because I created it with a little different touch to the little houses. So the die set, like I said, comes with 11 pieces. So you have the house itself, you have the rooftop, which you can also add a little more detail to the rooftop with the little scalloped edges. And I'm going to show you another technique that I had done on another sample project to show you. But you have the windows, and you have the little window panes, and you have the snowman if they're building a snowman. So it doesn't have to be an Advent calendar. It can be a card. It can be an invitation to a holiday party. It could be a little tag that you can hang on to a gift that you're going to be giving somebody. Just a cute little whimsical die set that possibilities are endless. This is the strand of lights. The strand of lights are very detailed, really cute, narrow strand with the light bulbs. But then using all these different pieces, little dies here, you can create your light bulbs. So have them all one color, like some people like to have in their houses, or mix them up like the traditional, all different primary colors. But I do recommend you put the adhesive sheet backing, just because you don't need to fuss with any kind of wet glue and get it on the rest of your project. So before you cut any of the details, I like to use the adhesive back, so it makes everything a sticker right away and real easy to apply. This one here is the door. So this is the door, and then the door, I guess not pane, but the front of the door, and that includes little windows. This is the actual door itself, and these little tiny pieces there are the door knobs. So I'm going to show you what I had done, and then you get these cute little trees as well, and then little snow caps for your, snow when it falls, it lands on the chimney. So I have a few pieces that I've already cut just to save time, so you don't have to watch me do all the pieces. But there's two different options that I had done with the strand of lights. So this one I cut out of white cardstock, if I can pick this up. Well, let me just point to it. With the white cardstock, and then with adhesive sheets, I had already pre-cut in multiple colors. So it's kind of fun to have already ready and off to the side. Just take one piece of your adhesive back cardstock and then just run it through another color, run it through. So you have a whole assortment. So you can just sit in front of a Christmas movie and decorate and string your lights or add the different color light bulbs. So with adhesive sheets, just adhere them on, leave a couple white for the, save time, and also have a few white light bulbs. Another option is I cut this in all white, and then I took our permanent markers and then I painted them up. So it saves you time from doing this, but it doesn't add the dimension, but this also adds a great little touch to it. And for the doors, like I said, you get the backing, the windows. You get the backing for the windows as well, plus the window panes, plus the cute little curtains. So I'm going to show you how simple it is to cut multiples at one time, since the die set is so small, and then you can lay them all on the your Big Shot machine at the same time. And then I'll show you the technique that I did to create that fold at the top so it didn't cut the whole house out. If you can see that, there's a little score line that I added later, but I was also able to cut it using our dimensional cutting pad, and I will show you that technique in a second. So let me go ahead and just cut a few of the pieces so you can see how you can cut multiples at a time. So for the rooftop, I have the adhesive backing onto our Opulent Mirror White cardstock. And I'm going to do that with the blade down, blade up, doesn't matter. So that's going to be that piece there. Then I'm going to take the basic roof and I'm going to cut it out of our Earl Grey cardstock. Actually, I think that's the cobblestone. And then how about the strand of lights? Let me trim this. This is another piece of the mirror cardstock. And I will take the strand of lights and I'll lay that down there like that. And let's see. I think that'll do it. Just to give you an idea. So you can do multiples. If I had my multiple colors, I could just go ahead, lay this down. I'll just do that now, just so you could see that. Look how many you can cut out at one time. And say I might want my window pane to be white. So I have enough room on that cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and run them all through together. So you can see from the back, it cut through beautifully, even with the adhesive sheets. So here's a strand of lights. There's the window, the backing of the window. And I will take my die pick, and with the poke holes in the back, I can easily pop that out. And then these are the little window pieces that would also come out. So this is already a sticker, which saves so much time. And this piece here, got that already. You can save these little pieces that come out and add them to a different rooftop, just to give, you know, no two houses are the same in a neighborhood, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And then this one is ready to go. So this one I'm going to go ahead, and as you can see, since it's the same shape, it's going to match up perfectly. And look how easy with the adhesive sheet it is. Peel that off, and it's already a sticker. Let me go ahead and adhere that down. And as you can see, it matches up perfectly. So there's the rooftop ready to go. I'm not going to fuss with adding the light bulbs to this one, but I will show you how easy it is to do. Pick up this one here. And I have one of the light bulbs. I'm going to take my die pick and just separate the adhesive backing. So that's already a sticker. And I'll just decide, let's see, I will lay it right next to the red one. Matches up perfectly. And that one's ready to go. So I'm going to peel off the backing here. I mean, doing it with the glue wouldn't be a problem, but it just saves so much time if you're able to just peel off the backing of an adhesive sheet. And then just line it right up there along the rooftop. And there's part of the house is all decorated and ready to go. So that part's ready. Now let me just show you how I did the door. So like I had shown you before, the door die, the Thinlit, has the little tiny doorknobs. I mean, they're real tiny. So like I said, you would want to use the adhesive backing on that. So you would cut the doorway out of a yellow or gold. I just did it that way just so it kind of shows you the that their lights are on and somebody is home. And then I'm going to take the actual door that has the windows in it. That one was already cut. Some I had cut in advance. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay that down there on top like that. So you could see the glow of the window through. That's using the Opulent Mirror Gold cardstock. Hopefully you can see the luminescence behind it. And then I had taken the door with the little white doorknobs. I had done this ahead of time just to save time, and that's going to go right there on top. And it leaves a little bit of a border. I mean, how cute is that little doorway? Have a little person fitting through there. So here's the window. And I'm just going to show you really quickly how I did that. So there's one already cut. Here are the curtains. Depending on your home decor, this is the Bluebell drapery. Go ahead and lay that there on top of that. And then I had previously cut the window pane. And I'm going to peel that off of the backing. And I'm going to adhere that on there just like so. So there's the two windows, and then there's the doorway. The other window, now I didn't put that on the advent calendar just because the days of the month were in the area where you would normally put this window, but I'll just show you how to do it. So that's the solid piece that comes with that die set. That's the one that had the, see if I can find it. I put it off to the side, and so off to the side, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. So it's this piece here. So I just running it through, I cut the white at the same time as the window pane, but it's just nice to have these just off to the side for future projects. But I cut it again in gold. So I'm going to, I already peeled off the backing, I think. Oh no, I didn't. So now I've got the adhesive backing there. And then the circles match up perfectly behind each other. And there's the little window. So you have the two windows, the rounded window, and the doorway. So I'm going to put those off to the side before I adhere those. And then I want to show you what I did to create the house with the dimensional cutting pad. So like I said, it has that little connection here where it didn't cut all the way through, and I'll show you how I created that. Get my little pieces out of the way. The great thing about these magnetic sheets is you don't lose those small pieces, and thank goodness for that, because as we all know, bows and the cutting pads get lost in the process. So the dimensional cutting pad, as you know, a cutting pad is the same plastic throughout the whole piece. It creates even pressure throughout. So what do you think would happen if there's a gap here? It's kind of beveled, so there's a valley. Doesn't matter, both sides are indented. That means there's no pressure in that area. So that means that area will not cut anything. So what I did is I took the house die. So this is the solid house. And you want to make sure that the blade itself, so the blade is around here. It's not on the inside. The blade is on the outside of this shape. The blade is the part that you don't want to cut. So that's the area that's going to be in where the divot is. So there will be no pressure when this runs through the machine with the cardstock, and that's the part that will not cut. Everything else where there's a cutting pad area will cut, but the part where there is no plastic or acrylic, where the divot is, that's the part that will not cut. So you're saving your blade, and it won't cut anything because there's no pressure there. So what I do is lay down my cardstock. Now I marked it here just so I would know where I want it to be. So that little marking there, and then I'll erase it before I adhere my project down. So that's where I want it to be, just so it'll be even with the other ones that I lined up next to it on the other days of the month. So go ahead, put that there like that. And then you just want to lay that down, and you can kind of feel the divot. So I'm just going to move it around where I can feel the blade is in the divoted area. And then with my maker's tape, this is just our low tack tissue type tape, that's going to hold it down just so it doesn't slip as I'm putting it onto the cutting pad or onto the platform of the machine. So have that ready. I can feel the divot. Now it might give you a few tries to get it right. So because if it shifts around or the blade isn't exactly where you thought it was going to be, then that's fine. You'll just cut it again. So this is considered a cutting pad, so you do not need another one, and your machine will let you know because it won't let it go all the way through. So this is considered your cutting pad on the bottom, and then I'm going to need another one on top. So since the blade for the chimney is hanging off the paper, I'm not going to go, it's not going to obviously cut that, so I'll show you what I do in the end. So just make sure it's still there against the divot of that dimensional cutting pad. through. And as you can see, it only cut where the acrylic was. But since the cutting pad didn't, the dimensional cutting pad did not cover the full die, I'm going to run it through again. And I could use a regular cutting pad, or I'm just going to run it partially through that same area where the chimney is, just so that part will cut. And I can hear that it cut, and so I'm done. So you just don't want to go all the way back around again, because that divot from the dimensional cutting pad was not down here. So now I have the whole thing all cut and ready. Peel that off. It doesn't ruin your paper at all. Put my die off to the side. So there I have it. So that is ready to go. No blade was in this area. Well, the blade was in this area, but it was in the divot of the dimensional cutting pad, so it applied no pressure because it's kind of like a gap there. And that's what I love about this. You can do all sorts of things. You could put it on a card. You could do it on an alphabet, anything you want to stand up and make dimensional. It's such a great product, and I absolutely love it. Let me show you what the packaging looks like on that. And it shows you exactly what you can do. You can lay it in the middle like we have here on the butterfly, and that creates no blade is going to be cut in the middle. So the flaps, the wings of the butterfly on both the left and right side are the areas where the dimensional cutting pad was. So it lifts up and it gives it a little more whimsy look onto your project. So great product. Love it, love it, love it. I just wanted to make sure I use it so you guys can have fun with it during the holidays. So we have the rooftop already. I have my house already. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the house. This one, I forgot to use adhesive backing, so I'm going to use my tape runner. You could use any kind of adhesive that you have. There's a light bulb stuck on the back. I'm going to add that to the house, and you can just see it lines up perfectly because the die set is all made to work together. So I've got that, and I've got my little doorway. Put that in the center. Peel off the backing, which saves so much time. Peel the little window. Depends on where you want to position the window. They can be even with the door, base of the door, or partially up. Got that one ready to go. I could have done another strand of lights and added it at the top if I wanted. And then with the snow-capped chimney, I have those pieces already cut. Peel off the backing. And just hold it up like that. Now the snow cap can go on the base of the window or on the chimney. Now for the chimney, it's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to trim it on that one little excess piece. And there, it's ready to go. Okay, so that's that part. Now I want to make sure I have my little message. So I just cut these pieces. Oh shoot, I wish I would have measured it for you. I'm pretty sure it's, darn it, don't quote me on this. Let's see, 3 by 4.5, I believe, or I don't think it's, no, it's not 3 by 5, but whatever size, it doesn't matter actually what size it is. But what I did is I cut a piece of our crimson cardstock from the festive pack, and I cut another message. I didn't print them all at the same time. I mean, all together. So I adhered this down, but I just wanted to make sure that it is visible and big enough for inside of the message. So this one, of course, is either Sing Christmas Carols, but I think I'll switch it up and I'm going to do Make a Christmas Craft. That makes more sense, right? So just match it up. It'll be the exact same size as the one that you just assembled. So what I'm going to do is, you don't want to put any kind of adhesive backing here, and that's the reason I didn't do adhesive sheets on the back of this whole house, is because I don't want this to adhere down, because it'll cover up the message and there won't be any little list or little thing for them to read or see. So you're just going to put your adhesive on the outside of the die cut. So I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to adhere it down. Oop, just like that. And I pull off my snow. Yeah, the snow back on there. I mean, there's so many fun little messages you could do. It could be something they would do if they're picking names for the holidays, if you do that for your family. That could be different messages behind there also. So I'm just going to fold it back and just score it down there a little bit. So what I did next is I put the adhesive backing on the back of our media board. So I'm going to go ahead and add that down there. But first, wait, we need the day of the week. So I will put, this is using our tiny alphanumeric die set. So I'm going to just go ahead and day of the week will be December 4th. And if somebody in your house's birthday falls on any of those dates, they should be the one that gets to choose to pull the little message back. So then that's all you need to do. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down to my board and position this off to the side here. And there you have it. And that one can be added to this one here. So you would do just a continual board. It could be a great little mantelpiece, or you could do it this way. It could be on the wall. It's such a fun project, and I love the way it all turned out. So just the possibilities are endless. What you want to listen to, Christmas music, make a Christmas craft, donate a toy or two, see Christmas lights, read Christmas stories, watch movies, also make popcorn, string the popcorn, make ornaments, all sorts of fun things you could do with an advent calendar. Or it can be inspirational quotes. Love that idea as well. So with this die set, there's all sorts of things you could do, but this is my favorite thing since I absolutely love advent calendars. Let me show you another way that you can create it. This is just die cutting the actual card on the fold. So what you would do is you would take a piece of cardstock, fold it, and then just have your blade exposed on the side of the paper. Let me just show you what I mean. So here's the blade here. If you want it to fold, you would go ahead, run it through the machine just like that. And then you just make sure the blade is showing there on the side and it won't cut that area. So let me just run that through. Pardon the color here. I just had it right there and just grabbed it. Oops. Since it's going through 2 layers of cardstock because it's folded, I will just run it through one more time. So there it is on the fold. So that's doing that same way. And also I just used the same color when I cut the rooftop and the detailed roof. So I cut this one and this one, but I did them both out of the brown cardstock. So it gives a tone-on-tone look, and that's kind of a fun technique also. And there's the door, just use simply with the window pane of the door, and then the back side in the glossy, the mirror white opulent. So that's another way to do it. Same idea, but look how cute. And this is just one dimension in the white on the tan. I love the way that looks. It's the caramel toffee cardstock, and it looks almost like a gingerbread cookie. So that's very cute. It'd be really cute for a cookie exchange invitation, which I need to work on soon for mine. And then the other one that I wanted to show you was using our dimensional cutting pad. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that is using, sorry, not dimensional, our emboss and transfer set. So it looks like it's the brown on the brown layering, but it's actually using the die cut and then running it through again with the detailed Thinlit, but with the emboss and transfer set. And let me show you how I did that one also. The emboss and transfer set comes with an impressions pad. This is what it looks like. The impressions pad and the silicone rubber. So the impressions pad acts as one of your cutting pad, but it's not cutting it. It's just embossing it. It's just a softer plastic. It's not the hard acrylic. And then this also softens it. This, you need them both together at the same time. And let me show you how that works. Get a piece of cardstock. So first I'm going to cut the actual rooftop by itself. So I've got the rooftop all set and ready. Next, I'm going to remove my thin die adapter because I'm not cutting. This is only where I'm going to be cutting. Since I'm not cutting, I'm going to remove that, but I still need my platform. And it'll show you exactly what you need to do if you're using the emboss and transfer technique. So it'll show you, you're going to have the platform, and then the cutting pad, and then the die. So the die is this piece here, obviously. So I'm going to have the Thinlit. Then I'm going to put the paper, and that'll show you there. So if you could see, there's the platform, the cutting pad, the Thinlit with the blade up, the paper, the rubber, silicone rubber, and then the impressions pad. Not one of these, the impressions pad. So here's the cutting pad. Here's the die. I'm going to lay that in there like that. Make sure my shaky hands don't move it. And then I need my silicone rubber. So I'm just going to lay that down there gently, hopefully it's not going to move. And then the impressions pad. And then I'm going to run it through. It sounds like it's cutting, but it's not. And it creates that embossed design, doesn't cut it through. I mean, the detail is beautiful. It looks just like I laid down another piece on top of it. So that's another technique of using the die cut. Instead of cutting it completely, adding a more dimensional and a little more, just a little more depth to it with the emboss and transfer pad. So that's a really great little technique. And then finally, another project that I had created is using the, hopefully, I don't know if you can be able to see that. If I lay it down there like that. I used our expand paste and just painted it down there and heated it up with the heat tool. But this is using the same die set, but as little pockets for the advent calendar. So what I did is I die cut the houses, 2 of them, and then I adhered them just along the edges to create a pocket. And then the same idea as the one that I just showed you how to create, it shows you different things that you can do. So instead of having it on the wall, these could be something that could be hanging on the tree. Just have multiple ones out. Put some little loops on them, and they could be on the tree, and they can find the correct corresponding day of the week, and whoever gets to choose it in the family gets to pull it out and say, oh, we get to visit Santa today. So how fun is that? That's all sorts of different ideas that you can do using the house die by Olivia Rose. I love it. I hope you've been inspired. There's so many fun things that you can do to create with that die set, and it's absolutely the sweetest thing ever. Also, don't put it away just because Christmas is over, because like I showed you, it doesn't have to have the house with the Christmas lights on it. It's a great little die set to have year-round. So whether you're creating a fun advent calendar like this, or one like this, it's a great die set for you to have. Also, if you would like to welcome somebody into the neighborhood with a fun little card, make sure you don't put the die set away, because it's a year-round, all-purpose, wonderful die set that you absolutely love, and the possibilities are endless. If you have any questions about the project I created or any of the techniques I share with you, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below, and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you again soon.